It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
It's 17th of April 2019. It's a 2 past 2 2 past 2 CET time. Piotr here, and this is a live market coverage, New York Open, on Global Light Forex YouTube channel. So yeah, let's have a look what's going to happen during the first part of the New York session. Of course, before we start, risk warning as usual, guys. Please bear in mind trading FX crypto on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all initial investment, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. All right. To be honest with you, I've been counting for more fireworks during the European session, but London was, let's say, quiet. I don't want to call it boring, but let's call it quiet, all right? So what we had? We had UK CPI, and was weaker, but still we are above 130, 129.70, right? Then we had Eurozone CPI, as expected, and we are within the range. We were discussing the range in euro dollar in between, to the upside 1330, 1350, to the downside 1270, 1250, and I think we have to stick into that, with that range, and wait for either attempt to break and failure, or simply to see the breakout. Nothing special from Japanese yen. During the Tokyo session, we hit stops above 12.15. We saw the rejection, but the rejection, it's hard to say strong rejection. It was the some kind of the profit, looks like algo profit taking, but we are trying to hold above weekly open. That's quite crucial, right? So that's telling me that if there is not gonna be end of the world today, tomorrow, we might see attempt to break higher, right, on the dollar yen. Especially the yields, US yields are doing well. That's what we monitoring. We are monitoring as well. 242 on 2s, and then 10s and 30 already broke to the upside. We are gonna to check yields as well. UK CPI was not bad, I think. Was a little bit slightly lower than what market was expecting. We saw a little bit of downside on the pound, but still, from the intraday perspective, I think if we are gonna to on the pound, if we are gonna to say that we are creating another range here, right? Like this, right? That's gonna be fair. So break to the upside, testing this yesterday's supply, right? Break to the downside will bring us this over under. So either way, everything is nice and sweet here on the pound. Very narrow, right? That's to be honest with you, very narrow. Hopefully you are gonna to get this megaphone formation in play. So yeah, we will see. What we are awaiting, we are awaiting Canadian CPI this time. All right. No, actually, what market is expecting is the same what we get last time, 0.7. We'll see. And at 2:30 also we are going to get US trade balance, right? At 3, so after the first break, we are going to have Mr. Carney. Maybe he will be able to move the market. And finally, 4:30, we are gonna get EEA. So we are talking about the crude here, right? That's gonna be interesting. What I'm looking for on the crude, let's say on the 15-minute chart, for example. Hopefully we are not gonna get it earlier, but what I would like to see on crude after the EEA release, I would like to see attempt to move higher, to clean some stops, to see some kind of the upper shadow, and that would be time, in my opinion, once we are below 64 to revisit 62, right? In that case, we are talking here, okay? That would be nice. We got some stops over here, so if market will decide to look for liquidity, plenty of liquidity below 64 towards 63 and then towards 62, but that's of course my opinion. So trying to visualize what I'm looking for, this type of the action after EEA. The second part of the US session, we are going to get Bullard, 6:45 p.m. CET, and at 8 Beige Book. So pretty much that's it. So just don't forget Canadian CPI, US trade balance within the next 20 minutes, then at 3 Carney, and that's hopefully where we might see some fireworks going on. I think that's what bears on the pound will look for, right? That he will say nothing, afraid of the Brexit development. So that's the last chance, one of the last chance for bears to try to kick in, step in, and try to push it lower, right? With dollar yen, you have to be extremely careful with the short side right now. The thing is that this type of the price action, that's something we were expecting, the stop hunt. That's what most probably we can agree on, that's what we were expecting. The thing is, the blue dotted line, that's the weekly open. Green dotted line, that's the Monday low. And here, possible demand. What I don't like here, if I would be bear, I would be afraid that this rejection took 20 pips only, and there is no continuation, at least for now. All right. It might be, I know it's not clearly visible, but it might be that some will try to think about possible head and shoulder. But my way of thinking is that even if we are gonna to try to create some topish formation, we may see much more aggressive stop hunt. So the thing to the left, it's not gonna be head and shoulder, it's gonna be just left shoulder, and then boom, eventually, right? But in any case, we are gonna to close the day above 1220, 1240, 50. That might suggest we may see much higher levels. And now, what I would like to tell you, why we might see manipulation to the upside. Guys, remember I've mentioned that Japanese market are gonna be closed for 10 days. Of course, Bank of Japan Forex and their dealers are gonna be on a 24-hour shift to try to prevent any downside. But with low liquidity, let's say we manage to close today above 1220, 1240, let's say, just trying to imagine, right? 0.7, the same like last time in relation to the Canadian CPI. Let's say it's Wednesday today. Let's say we are going 10 days holiday. Yeah. Let's say we manage to close above 1220 today, 1240. And for European traders, tomorrow is like last day of the week ahead of the Easter, right? Let's say we are gonna to hold above 1220, 1240 tomorrow. So from the conservative point of view, we are going to have two consecutive daily close above 1220, 1240. Then Friday, with very low liquidity, the weakest shorts might be under pressure. There might be force to get out. And to be honest with you, I'm not saying it's going to happen. That's important thing. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm trying to visualize one of the scenario. So then on Friday, with very thin liquidity, we might see 114, 115 by Friday, or as early as next week, with low liquidity on the market, when there are gonna be only one side, the shorts are gonna to look to cover. So the bears accidentally may try to push it higher, looking to cover weak short. So just the way of, again, I'm not saying it's going to happen. What I'm saying is to be extremely careful these days, especially when we are ahead of the Easter, we are ahead of the long Japanese holiday for 10 days. So and that might be paradise for the Bank of Japan Forex, right? They are happy with weak yen. On the other hand, we may want to discuss manipulation to the downside as well. In that case, as I mentioned, a little bit more aggressive stop count to the upside, but the thing is, let me make some cleanings here. The thing is that bears need to try to close below high and open based on the 20th of March, right? Because on that day we broke through the low from the 8th of March. Then there was a retest continuation to the downside. So we need to activate this supply. That's what is needed for bears. And especially the sentiment right now, sentiment is supporting weaker yen. We are right now, looks like market is trading carry trade. Check the Swiss franc as well. So what I would like to see, attempt to break lower. I would like to see retest of this 1170, 1180, and most probably I would look for longs. That's gonna be first, second, third touch. We do have two touches to the upside, so we might see third touch, we might see pullback towards the weekly open again, and we might see rally from here. All right, we are going to monitor dollar yen for sure. Okay, 10 minutes and we are going to get Canadian CPI. So what we have on USD CAD? Let's start with daily. We are trying to hold 33, which was tested today. That's based on this Bank of Canada outlook and Monday rally, right? Pull back into that zone we started, right? There is a reaction. We took out latest supply, intraday supply. So the next is levels around the day open, around 33.45, 33.50, right? But eventually, if you remember what we discussed yesterday, eventually, I think we may try to hit some stops to the upside because the possible supply I can see here. So over here and here, there you go. That's the liquidity pool supply, and here I may try to think about some shorts. On the other hand, of course, break and close below, retest of 33.50 and lower, right? But yeah, it's all about the data. And then remember that there is a oil related data, EA, which may have influence on the Canadian dollar. So we will see. For now, would be great if we can get weak CPI number and we are going to be around demand zone, that would support, that would be combination demand zone, weak data, let's push it higher, right? Hopefully there are gonna be enough time to try to join that party, so not only algo will participate in it, hopefully. We'll see. So we are going to watch, at the very first stage, we are going to watch USD CAD. In terms, if we are going to get better Canadian data, right? If we are going to get better Canadian data, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for early close, so we are going to have some time. I'm going to check, for example, Euro CAD and CAD Yen with this positive sentiment, all right? And eventually, if we are gonna get positive CPI, that's overall good combination for the Canadian dollar, but I don't want to trade that maybe with US. I will check the charts, Canadian, Japanese yen and Euro CAD. Okay, hopefully that's clear. All right, so we have 8 minutes. So hopefully US guys will try to shake the market, just not to fall asleep, because it's watching euro dollar price action or pound price action or even dollar yen price action within last 3 days. There's huge possibility to fall asleep. There was a Morgan Stanley earning results earlier today, so let me place it on the chat. US MBA mortgage application, a little bit better here, but the mortgage 30-year mortgage rate touch higher. Friendly reminder, before the short holiday, right, because of Easter in Europe, we have 2 meetings tomorrow. We are going to cover pre-London Open live here on Global Light Forex channel tomorrow at 8 a.m. CET. So as usual, and then again, same like today at 2 p.m. CET, we are going to cover New York Open, right? So 2 meetings tomorrow, then the short break, and going back on Tuesday with the same stuff. 2 meetings on Tuesday, pre-London Open live market coverage and New York Open live market coverage. So that's how it looks from my perspective. Yeah, expectations are low, meaning that's what I've mentioned yesterday. It's easy to beat. So I'm not trying to create any theories, right? It's clear manipulation. Let's try to make the expectations very, very low. So even tiny beat is gonna be, the takeaway is gonna be positive. So yes, let's move higher. US election soon. Why should we go lower? Oh my. All right, 3 minutes to go. A little bit more than 3 minutes, sorry. 3.5. So here, instead of Aussie JPY, let's place CAD JPY. Trying to break out to the upside. Actually, based on the close, we break through that. We're trying to consolidate within the Friday range. There was an attempt to break Monday. Tuesday retest the low. That was probably buying opportunity. And again, trying to break. If we are going to fail here because of the data, that might be horrible from the bull's perspective. And the street, what I've seen earlier today on my FX book, street turn negative on cut, so it might be completely opposite. But let's see. We have 2 minutes. We'll see. Hopefully, we are going to get something. At least we need higher volatility. That's gonna be, easier to try to join some parties. Otherwise, exactly, Mer, anything can happen. As long as we cannot move the market, we should expect something like this. Anything can happen. One minute to go. Just the reminder, because of the YouTube live stream rules, there is a little bit of delay. You can check what kind of the delay I'm talking about, checking the clock at the bottom of right corner, right? So let's have a look that way. Seconds. Let's have a look what kind of the stops they are looking for. Okay, it might be this pre-Bank of Canada meeting. But I think from the dollar perspective, US dollar perspective, the CPI as expected, but here what might be good from eventually dollar perspective is this US trade balance below 50 billions. All right, so we hit some stops here, and taking into consideration that it's as expected, so we need stronger dollar. Let me check the rates, yields. How does it look like? No move right now. Mer, to be honest with you, I'm going to ask the guys from Light Forex to invite representative. I would say I am a guest here as well, right? Preparing this webinars for you. We need someone who is inside Light Forex to provide all this informations for us. So I think that I'm going to ask them. So for example, if we have a break, then we can have some introduction from Light Forex as well. Dollar yen likes this US number. Okay, so 133 again. Maybe a little bit lower, those two shadows. Yo, those two shadows. If they are gonna be able to hold that, that might be interesting. Otherwise, if we are gonna to break through, then I would like to see lower daily close, right? Not only false break. So before I will jump into the short side here, I need a time. That's why I've mentioned we are going to monitor CAD JPY and EuroCAD. Trying to and EuroCAD. We may try to here. Let's have a look. I've been tiny long USD CAD into the deep morning dip, but I cover it with tiny profit ahead of. So I've been flat before New York Open, or around New York Open, before our meeting. But on the other hand, I've been stopped on the pound earlier today. Trying to figure it out what they may want to do with this Euro CAD. I think 150 is a key, so psychological level. We are below the weekly open, that's positive development. So we are building the upper shadow on weekly. That's how it looks. And we hit the supply. Now you know how narrow the range is here. That's the range over here. So a little bit below 150 and a little bit above 52 based on the weekly chart. Let's have a look what we have on a, and that's the possible supply on the weekly, right? And that's possible demand on the weekly, and we need to see the breakout. So probably better choice might be CAD yen. From the intraday perspective, okay, here we broke through this post Bank of Canada monthly bulletin outlook. We broke through. Okay, what we have and where. That was this move to the upside. That was the breakout, breakthrough, retest, breakthrough higher, so we have something here, but it was tested. So now this one probably, and that corresponds, yeah, exactly, that corresponds with weekly open. There you go, that's the weekly open over here, somewhere here, yeah, so that corresponds with weekly open. So quite good possible supply over here, and we are breaking down on the USD CAD as well, in case we are gonna to see break to the upside on the oil. That might be one big move to the downside, like short Canadian dollar liquidation. And Canadian is doing well. Let's check higher again. We've seen this probably 1-to-1. No, it was missed by a few pips. So the weekly open $83.94, so 84 looks like support right now, and that's confirmed over here. So from intraday perspective, that's how it looks right now. The case is, if we are gonna to close this hour without the real breakout, just with the upper shadow, I'm not interested in this demand, right? I want to see 2 hourly close, cut break everywhere, yeah. I'm quite surprised that dollar is not reacting stronger based on good data. So let me place all these details into the chat window. Core CPI a bit higher, 1.61 versus 1.5. But on a monthly basis weaker. And that's the US trade balance. I thought that I already placed that. Yeah, I've placed a little bit higher. I'm sorry, guys. All right, it's a very good moment to make the first break today. So the bar is open. Tea, coffee, whatever you want, non-alcoholic drinks. The charts are staying visible, and I'm going back around the top of the hour when the early candles are created. So enjoy the break, guys.
And then to look for points of entry, a nice bearish candlestick rejection or perhaps an evening star.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hi guys, welcome in our second part of today's meeting, and looks like it was worth to wait till the early close, not trying to chase the market. I'm talking about the Canadian dollar, because at some point after the CPI, Canadian CPI, Canadian dollar was trying to break out everywhere, but as we can see at the top of the hour, based on the early close, some levels hold. USD CAD stops, but we hold on an early close. CAD yen attempt to break, but we hold, and now this zone, as I mentioned, because of this upper shadow, it's not interesting me, at least for now. All right, this zone is not interesting. I'm gonna to monitor, but I'm not gonna to wait with the working order. All right, but for example, EuroCAD, that's clear break, right? Clear break here. Okay, so that's saying me that the things might get interesting in both dollar, euro dollar, and eventually pound, because pound is trying to break a little bit lower. So we took out some stops, but we are not done yet, in my opinion. Over under, so something around 30, 20, 30, 15, the yellow, or a bit lower towards psychological 130. But very interesting things are going on. So we may get back here to check this supply. Plenty of things on the pound. The first stops are taken out, but that's how we are trading lately, right? Trying to hold volatility as low as possible. Anyway, euro dollar looks good after the initial attempt to break higher, right? So this possible demand based on the retest of weekly open and moving higher. So right now, previous hour, it was the retest after the breakdown this time. We are around the weekly open, so I wouldn't be surprised to see euro dollar again check a little bit lower levels, so trying to check daily open. I'm not gonna be surprised if we are gonna to see that. Okay. As I mentioned before, the data was quite okay. So I'm really not surprised. Dollar is getting stronger a bit. We are testing Monday low, green dotted line. Okay. Suddenly something is going on. That's good. So euro is trying. I think at least daily open, so the yellow might be tested. But again, I wouldn't be surprised, and we discussed it during the morning meeting, we might see even lower levels. So we may try to take out yesterday low. We may try to take out yesterday low and trying to revisit this green demand based on the daily. So yeah, hopefully there something is going to happen. So as I've mentioned, the last hour was the I started to talk about that and they started to fall, right? So hopefully some of you were able to start to test this shorts. And again, everything I'm talking about, any kind of the strategy, any kind of the idea, you are testing on a demo account only or paper trading, right? I'm preparing the webinars where I'm gonna to discuss in details my strategies, what I'm doing, the risk I'm taking, for you to be on a safe side, right? So for now, you are just testing. So market is so slow, so this type of the speed is unusual, taking the consideration what we've seen lately, right? Last few days. Let's have a look if we have something. Based on news, maybe that was. I can't see anything from Carney yet. Pound yen, the trend line holds, and we're trying lower. The next possible demand, I think it's somewhere here, so there is still space. But the thing is, we have to, in case of bullish breakout, we need to take out the weekly open, right? So we are talking about levels closer to 46.50. Again, just a reminder, what we discussed, 1270, 1250, the downside bottom of the range we were discussing. And again, reminder guys about the option we were discussing this today. 13.20, right? There was a good chunk. We were there. So the options traders got the chance to hedge. The good chunk to the downside is 12.50. And we still got like 49 minutes. Well, with low liquidity, if someone wants to see 12.50, why not? Why not? But before option expiration at 3:30, we do have New York cash open, so we are going to check the indices in a few minutes. Just let's have a look if there are going to be any kind of the continuation, right? Then next 2 days gonna be quiet because euro moved by 12 pips, so it's quite huge distance lately for euro dollar. So yeah, we may stay here for next 2 days. I'm joking, of course, guys. Jeez. So maybe, you know, because yeah, they moved few pips down and they stopped. But so I'm trying to figure out what might happen. But I like sometimes to check different things. So trying to compare today's move to the upside to that move to the downside over here. Let's highlight this. Maybe size is a little bit different, of course, but trying to compare this break to the downside, attempt to break to the downside, quickly rejected, right? Similar situation here, trying to break higher, rejection, but of course what we need to see is at least retest of 82.80, so daily open. Then after the false break to the downside, we saw the high. So maybe if we are gonna to make the measure of this attempt to break higher, and we are gonna to try to make it like this. Do you remember the line from the weekly chart? It's still here. It's still here. What is the bottom of the consolidation we discussed? 1270, 1250. Where is the line? 1240. So we may try to hunt some stops below the bottom of the range again. that's how the range trading looks like, right? Some stops to the downside, some stops to the upside. Maybe that's the case. So that's the short accumulation breakdown. So here around the weekly open, that's possible intraday supply above 113 if seen. But yeah, it's so slow. It's so slow. The action looks like someone's put the euro dollar chart through the slow motion software, right? On the pound, I think we might try to anyway drew this megaphone, so over under to the downside. So yeah, there is a chance to retest something around 30, 20, 30, 15. I wouldn't say it's we are done with this low here. Hopefully. Let me check the services if there is anything related to the first 5 minutes move. Here are there some imbalances in relation to the US cash open. Don't forget that on the pound side, because of the move to the downside, the supply is a little bit higher. So we still might see attempt to retest 30.50 and then to see move down. Wouldn't be surprised to see that. Anyway, 10 minutes to US cash open, so let's have a look what we have on the indices. A little bit of the price action to the downside yesterday, right? But still trying to hold the previous day sell-off. So what we've seen lately, gap up, sell-off, gap up, sell-off. Today we are going to gap up. The thing is, there's no new high compared to this week price action. So yeah, it would be smart to be careful here, because either we are gonna to trade this channel probably, something like this. Okay. Or it might be that, okay, maybe we are going to see a little bit higher levels today, right? But it might be retest of the broken fast trend line and the top of the channel. The combination along with possible supply based on the daily chart, green color. That might be interesting. That might be interesting. So let's no. But I think that we are going to somehow retest this supply based on the daily. It might be like this and we'll see. And we are going to monitor Dow Jones daily open based on the cash market open. But let's have a look what we have on the Nasdaq. This is the beast. So we know where we are. Now, now we have to, from the bull's perspective, they have to close above. If there are gonna be false fake breakout here, yeah, I don't wanna be in the bull skin here. So we might see strong melt up to the upside today. Intraday perspective. Think this false break here was a key. This one, Monday. Through the roof. So much more interesting is gonna be bull's behavior around supply on DJ here. So I think that's what we are going to monitor. Just a reminder, 4:30 CET, we have the EA data. I'm sorry, I don't have handy yesterday API. Maybe I'm gonna be able to find somewhere. No, but it was bullish, right? It was the surprise draw, so as we have 5 minutes, let's have a look what we have on the yield side. around 242. That's the 2-hour chart. That's the 2-hour chart. We are above this supply, and there is no strong rejection. We are trying to hold well here, especially after the move back above all these breakdowns, right? So the last is 245. Green line over here from daily. Once we are gonna be able to move through 245, 248, things may get interesting from the dollar perspective. Tens. Nothing has changed to what we discussed. Testing. Let's switch to 1 hour. Testing possible supply around 260. There is a little bit of the rejection over here, right? But yeah, nothing to worry for now. We are testing the bottom of the candle, which brought us here. So far so good. Not, I wouldn't say it's bad right now, but of course we are testing supply, right? So let me clean the charts for you. To make it more visible. Okay. So we cleaned this supply, and we do have something around 264 to 65. Right, and probably we are targeting this zone, and there is testing 3. This early candle here, the previous one, doesn't look great. That doesn't look great. That's the whole possible supply over here in between 302, 306, 302, 306. But overall, for now, yields should support dollar. So the breakdown euro dollar or attempt to break down on the pound shouldn't be treated as a surprise. Now, let's get back to the platform because I slightly changed my mind. I'm sorry for this. We are not gonna watch DJ, which is under the supply yet. We are gonna to monitor Nasdaq. Why? Let me explain, because yeah, that's my mistake. That's why I've changed my mind. I'm sorry. It might not be boring. I'm very interested in what's going to happen because that's the pre-market breakout. Just figure it out that we are not open cash, right? 30 seconds left. So I'm very, very interested how we are gonna to trade this breakout, right? Because if it's only pre-market, wow. And looks like they're trying to 10 seconds. No. Of course, we are not gonna fall 15 point, but I wanna see retest and what's going to happen. So yeah, we are open, guys. High is very close to the open. Low is here. And there you go, that's the open. Very interesting. Because it's a not breakout during the cash market. So we should see at least retest of this, of that breakout point. Okay. Through the roof. When I was younger, maybe, yeah, I would say it might be something like 25 years ago, maybe longer. There was a band called Starship, and they had a great hit, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. So it's like the 80s music, and yeah, the current Nasdaq price action remind me that song. Nothing's gonna stop us now. That's what bulls may sing right now. It was a good song. Let me have a look. I try to find on YouTube. Yeah, there you go. 1 second. One second. Yeah. So I'm gonna place the link. So that's for all the stock bulls right now. Enjoy. Okay, so the first 5 minutes in Nasdaq looks like still a few seconds left. We made the move to the downside. We then moved the same size to the upside. We are fighting around the cash open right now. We'll see. Trying to finalize this 5 minutes below cash open, trying to settle the 5 minute range below cash open. We'll see. There is a very interesting situation here on euro dollar because the hourly open and move down was through the weekly open. So plenty of things here suggest that might be some kind of the supply. We'll see. We should see the close below on the hourly and then again into the London fix. All right, so first 5 minute range slightly negative. And if we are gonna to see the first 5 minute range, we are gonna make the measure after the break. We should retest the breakout level, right? We'll see. What is important that at the end of the day, bulls doesn't want to have any kind of the upper shadow, and they want to have a huge move away from that 7,685 on my chart, based on the chart I'm using here. USD CAD trying to hold, but because of the break to the downside, we have to remember that that's the possible supply. Only move higher and close above, right? Because it's related to weekly open as well, same as Euro CAD. So we have to remember about that. And that's what I've been talking about on the CAD-yen. False break. Longs are forced to cover. It's good what is going on oil right now, because then we are approaching possible demand here. So what we do right now, we are trying to consume this late New York rally because of this API data. Then we might see, what I would like to see here, right, is the breakthrough this level, attempt to rally, all right, and the visualization we did before. That's what I would like to see. So current move to downside is good. It would be great to see a little bit deeper, cleaning this demand, or at least retesting the bottom here. That's what I would like to see from the oil perspective. EuroCAD testing first supply based on this combination of the break higher, right? So there was a demand tested late yesterday, bounce, and after the data breakthrough. So we'll see if there is a reaction. Much stronger supply based on this pre-data level, which is related to weekly open as well. So that's interesting. From the bulls perspective, probably you wanna see pullback right now to have a time to rally towards the end of the day, unless you don't have enough money to push it higher. Then that's gonna be crap. That's what we discussed. All right, so we are approaching second break. After the break, we are going to try to summarize. Hopefully, the beginning of this hour was very interesting. It was from the euro-dollar perspective, from the pound perspective. Hopefully, we will see some kind of the continuation. All right. So let's have a break right now. The bar is open again. Coffee, tea, non-alcoholic drinks. Enjoy the break. Charts are staying with us. I'm gonna be back around the top of the hour.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hi guys, that's the last part of today's meeting. Looks like we're trying to start the hour same way we did hour ago. I'm talking about euro dollar. Very important thing. I'm going to try to be as clear as I can. I like pins, I like upper lower shadows, but when they are located in a logical place. I can't see, maybe I'm wrong, but I can't see this lower shadow here is placed in a logical place. Here maybe. What I'm trying to tell you, that in my view, in my opinion, the lower shadow here, that's the invitation to try to go long. I'm not saying we are not gonna see higher levels, just to be perfectly clear, but that's for me not long setup, not at all. For me, this type of the shadow where the lower shadow is out of nowhere, that's the invitation, right? For the uninformed traders to be trapped. And most probably we are going to see stops hunt below this shadow. Now there is a fight at the 50%, right? That's what some folks are teaching. Similar story here on the pound. I think that at least we are gonna to get 1-to-1. That's this over under we were discussing since yesterday, right? Megaphone, that might happen as well. So options for today expired, and now we are approaching London fix. So trying to summarize euro dollar. 1330, 1350 supply to the upside, possible demand around 1270, 1250 based on the daily chart, with the possibility to stop hunt and hit even 1240. That's what we discussed based on this weekly trend line. We are in the middle of the nowhere. There was a possibility from the intraday perspective when we were discussing early. There was a possibility to try to join intraday party after this one closed, so there was a chance to try to join the party around the weekly open. Still there is a chance. Again, just a reminder, whatever we are talking about here, whatever it's from me, you are testing on a demo account or you are testing as a paper trading, okay? That's the key. we are trying to learn something here together, right? Pound, still think bulls are good once we are above 30.2970, right? But I think there is a still possibility we are going to see lower levels. Overall, based on this possible megaphone formation, there is a possibility that we are gonna to anyway stay within this tight range, or we may try to expand that range, meaning that we might hit yesterday's supply, right? Or we might try to hit lower levels here on the pound down towards 130. Spike down, whatever. Okay. That's why I've mentioned about this at the beginning of the second part of our meeting, that it was good idea to wait, not chase the market, but to wait to see what's going to happen at the early close. And yeah, we saw the failure at USD CAD, we saw the failure at CAD-yen. Now even Euro CAD is trying to reverse. Now with Euro CAD right now, we are approaching the possible supply based on the CPI related to the weekly open. That's quite significant. So in my opinion, it's worth to watch the zone over here. But even if we are gonna see the reaction here, I would watch the behavior around 50.30, all right? It might be over, under, and we might see higher levels. That's from the bull's perspective. From the bear's perspective, reaction here within this supply. And as long as this trend line holds, right? Attempt to break, hitting supply, slow slide towards psychological 150 level. So both bulls and bears got their arguments. Dollar CAD, I'm looking to buy. I think we might see pop on the oil. I would love to see retest of 33.05, 33 level and see. Yeah, I think we are gonna to hit these stops anyway. We are gonna to find this liquidity pool. It might end up that we are gonna to make huge V formation here, right? Once we are going to close above this pre-CPI high, it might be continuation to the upside. This supply should turn into the demand. Let's have a look what we have lower. That's how it looks on the 5-minute chart, and we will switch lower in a second to 1 minute to figure it out what's going on there. Maybe we are going to have some fireworks, that's true. Here the same. Very interesting on USD CAD. And CAD-yen, exactly what I've said before this candle finished. We were much higher. And I said that I'm gonna be interested in this lower demand only if we are gonna to see close above. In case of higher shadow, upper shadow, I'm not interested in this demand. Boom! Nasdaq going back under the breakout, pre-market breakout point. Wow. Wow. From the bull's perspective, it's good that it's the first part of the US session. There is always time to rally into the end. That's even more important to see strong close, right? So the current sell-off, I would be very careful trying to trying to be on the short side here right now, because we know that for them, for those crazy buyers, it's enough 15 minutes before the close to make percent or two. In case of the close like this, especially below yesterday high, maybe with negative body, so below the pre-market open, we might see reversal day, but we are gonna be able to tell something more after the daily close. It might be outside day. But for now, really, still plenty of demand, still we have bottom of the channel, plenty of time to get back and rally. So I would be very, very careful. There is news April related, I put in the chat. It's might be a little bit negative. And there you go. That's what I told you a second ago. That's the invitation for uninformed buyers. Wow! Lower shadow pin. I'm buying. I'm buying. I'm buying. And that's how they end up with the stop hunt right now. That's what I've been trying to explain you guys. Another attempt to go lower. Now after the stop hunt, it might be the case. It might be the case, but not because of the what I've been thinking about, that plenty of guys were buying at the top here above the weekly close because of the lower shadow. Wow. We even didn't manage to move above previous hourly high. We just hit the stops. I think we might revisit daily open or even the green zone based on the range from the 11th of April. But yes, I'm not gonna be surprised once they hit those stops. We are gonna to see pop. I'm not gonna be surprised right now. I'm not gonna be surprised. I'm not a buyer here, but it's possible we are gonna see a few pips to the upside, maybe higher, because all those guys who bought here, they are already done, right? Mer, thank you very much for a kind word, but no, it's long journey ahead of me. Still, even I'm almost 50, I still feel young, and as long as I enjoy watching the charts, everything is fine. As long as it's a pleasure, then. All right, so no, not. Maybe if we are gonna to see again retest of the weekly open, maybe I will make the trade over here. I'm waiting for oil later on. And I'm going to monitor Canadian dollar, because once the risk is back, I may consider this short over here a little bit higher on EuroCAD, but that's gonna depend on what's going to happen here on oil. I've been, as I mentioned, I've been long USD CAD earlier today when there was the first, when there was this first move into that previous demand, and before we start our meeting, I closed. I've been long pound, but I've been stopped out. I've been a bit short euro dollar. I closed euro dollar, but it was opened before we start our meeting, so I didn't mention. I wouldn't disturb our meeting. That, oh guys, I opened it 5 hours ago and watch my position. No, I'm thinking about what we can do here once we are live from the day trading perspective. That's why, from time to time I mentioned I was long, I've been stopped, I hit the target, I didn't hit the target, whatever. But the most important that I think all of us may try to learn once we are live. So I want to focus on what is going on currently on the market. And I've been trying to explain this price action over here when there was a sudden move to the downside, right? So to be honest with you, frankly speaking, I missed that short opportunity here live. But anyway, tomorrow is a day again. And when you are watching such a slow and quiet market, you are tired because of the watching this market, right? So sometimes unfortunately you can miss few trades. Anyway, going back to trying to summarize the day. So we know where we are on euro dollar. Again, 1250, 1270 to the downside, 1330, 1350 to the upside. That's the wider zone, and I would like to watch and try to, at the very first attempt, I would like to fade. So meaning I'm gonna try to sell Riley towards 1330, 1350, and I'm gonna try to buy deep down towards or below 1270, closer to 1250, 1240. That's what we discussed. On pound, I don't know. I think I'm gonna to wait. We are gonna to. I wanna see expansion of that current range. So either I'm gonna be seller on an attempt towards 131, 131.20, or I'm gonna to watch carefully price action down towards the figure, right? Again, it's hard to believe it's a pound, right? What's the range? Taking into the consideration higher and lower shadows, it's 35 pips. And guys, that's cable. That's cable. 35 pips. 3-5 without zero, nothing. Shit. So dollar yen. In case we will try to push indices lower still towards the beginning of the second part of the US session, I'm going to watch dollar yen down towards 1170, right? I think we are not down to the upside yet, but that's what I've been trying to explain during the first part. Only daily close below the high and the open from the 20th of March. We are talking about 1168, 1138. So below 1140 might turn bearish. Would be great if you are watching US yields as well. Watch, let's say, 10s or 2 years yields. Why I want to try to take the longs around the mentioned level. The current rejection, right? It's hard to call it rejection. It's just pullback right now. We are still trying to hold around the weekly open. We might try to expand that pullback 1-to-1 bottom of this possible megaphone formation, and then we might see another rally. And there is one more thing, upcoming Japanese holiday. So I'm pretty sure Bank of Japan and the folks from Bank of Japan dealers, they are gonna to watch market closely, right? And if there are gonna be any kind of the possibility to manipulate to the upside, they will do that. Pretty sure. Canadian, all clear. Nasdaq, I'm going to watch daily close. Been watching this pound yen. There was 2 or 3 attempts to go higher, and finally it looks like they are giving up a bit right now. So before I'm gonna to watch from the long perspective, right, I would like to see sudden move to the downside. It might be because of the yen strength, or it might be because of the pound weakness. I don't care. What I would like to see here is, like, instead of this type of the channel, I would like to see aggressive type of the channel. Something like this, right? Even with the stop count below this yellow demand. But, you know, something similar to what we've seen here. The first 5 minutes on euro dollar. Boom. Boom. So that would partially confirm that some guys gave up on the longs, right? So once some guys gave up on the longs, and we will see some kind of a consolidation after this particular price action we see here, then from the lower low we may try to see higher levels, but it might be related to the overall yen price action I am expecting during this Japanese holiday. But guys, be careful, monitor very closely. I might be totally wrong. And finally, oil. EA within the next 7 minutes. Then I would like to see 15 minutes candle, which is gonna be something like, based on this quadruple top or whatever we want to call it, I would like to see candle like this, attempt to break, lower close, upper shadow, the lower the close the better, something similar to what we've seen here on CAD yen. Attempt to break, failure, boom. So that might be very quick trade here on the oil. That's what I would like to see. Of course, there are plenty of different scenarios, and if the one I'm talking about it's not gonna happen, then I will try to figure it out what next with oil, right? I think we got the big chance to revisit 60 to 50, 62. And at the end, as usual, still within overall market preview, so we are switched to crypto, but as I mentioned, I'm preparing, and hopefully we will find a good solution and the right time to do separate meetings crypto related with charts. But anyway, right now let's switch to the Bitcoin. All right. So what we were talking about yesterday and today, it was this bullish price action based on, I already explained a few times, based on this red line, just a reminder that the top of the possible demand based on the monthly. Once it was penetrated to the downside, after latest rally, we took out, moved above. So first pullback, we hold it, second, third, fourth, still hold it. This 4,950.40 holds right now, all right? That's huge development. from the bull's perspective, in my opinion. And as long as we are holding that level based on the daily close, we might see spike lower, right? But as long as we are holding this, okay, that's very important development here, in my opinion. Now, there was a fight between bulls and bears around this 5,000. It was not only related to this demand zone, also related to this fast trend line, right? And looks like we were discussing it yesterday. There was from the intraday perspective, there was some kind of supply which was confirmed here to the right, okay? And again, we are trying to break lower. But again, this time bulls won that fight, cleared that supply. So right now, we may expect that somewhere here there is a demand, and we are started to talk to those sellers, right? Show me your hands. Show me your hands. First, small rejection. Second, higher high, small rejection. Nothing extraordinary right now. If we are gonna to clear that stuff, 5.4, 5.5, so the stops above this high. And then 5,800, 5,900, 6,000 as a, for now, I think, final target. There is a wall of supply around this breakdown level. I'm pretty sure wall of supply. But that's how it looks from my perspective, right? I'm bullish here, as long as from the intraday perspective, as long as we are above 4,950. Move below that level will not cancel bullish scenario, will delay bullish scenario. Below 4,950, if we are gonna to close the day below that level, 4,400, 4,200. And below, in case it happen, below the yearly open as a key psychological level. Halving is coming next year. Check what happened with Litecoin ahead of the halving. Anyway, guys, it was my pleasure. Just a reminder, tomorrow, same as today, 8 a.m. pre-London Open live market coverage, and then again at 2 CET, 2 p.m. CET, we are gonna to cover live New York Open. Don't be trapped. You are more than welcome to join tomorrow. And today, I wish you great rest of the day. Thank you very much. Have a great one. Take care. Goodbye.